There comes a moment in life when you realize that respect isn't something you demand, it's something you embody. No matter how kind or patient you are, there will always be people who push boundaries, test your limits, and challenge your self-worth. But here's the truth: you teach people how to treat you by what you allow, what you stop, and what you walk away from. If you've ever felt unheard, undervalued, or taken for granted, it's time to reclaim your power. Respect starts with you. Set clear boundaries, teach others how to treat you. Respect isn't something you passively receive, it's something you cultivate through your actions, choices, and the boundaries you set. In life, there will always be people who test your limits, whether intentionally or not. Some will take advantage of your kindness, assuming that silence equals acceptance. Others may disregard your feelings, prioritizing their own needs at your expense. If you don't define your boundaries, someone else will do it for you, and it won't be in your favor. The Stoics believe that we cannot control how others behave, but we can control how we respond. This philosophy applies perfectly when it comes to setting boundaries. You don't need to be aggressive or confrontational, but you do need to be firm and clear about what is and isn't acceptable. If someone continuously interrupts you, talks down to you, or disregards your time, you have every right to address it. A simple, calm statement like, "I don't appreciate being spoken to that way," or "I won't tolerate this kind of behavior," can be more powerful than you think. Many people fear setting boundaries because they worry about how others will react. They don't want to seem difficult or too sensitive. But here's the hard truth: people who respect you will appreciate your honesty, while those who don't were never going to treat you right in the first place. If someone gets upset because you stand up for yourself, that's their issue, not yours. You are not responsible for managing their emotions at the cost of your own well-being. Think of boundaries as the invisible lines that protect your energy, time, and mental peace. Without them, you become vulnerable to manipulation, stress, and resentment. With them, you teach others how to treat you while reinforcing your own self-worth. Imagine you're a fortress. Without walls, anyone can walk in and take whatever they please. But when you build strong, healthy boundaries, you decide who enters, how they behave, and when they need to leave. The key to maintaining boundaries is consistency. If you let one small act of disrespect slide, it sets a precedent for more. It's not about overreacting to every minor offense, but rather recognizing patterns and addressing them before they become habits. People will push as much as you allow them to, so the earlier you set expectations, the better. Ultimately, setting boundaries isn't about controlling others, it's about controlling yourself. It's about recognizing that your peace of mind is worth protecting. You are not obligated to please everyone, and you certainly don't need to accept treatment that diminishes your dignity. Speak up. Stand firm. Teach people how to treat you by refusing to accept anything less than respect. Don't engage in power struggles, stay in control of yourself. In life, there will always be people who try to push your buttons. Some do it out of insecurity, needing to prove their dominance over others. Some do it out of boredom, treating conflict like a game. And some do it simply because they lack respect and enjoy seeing you lose control. The Stoics teach us that the greatest power we have is over ourselves, our thoughts, our emotions, and our reactions. When someone disrespects you, your instinct might be to fight back, to defend yourself, to put them in their place. But ask yourself, is this truly a battle worth fighting? Engaging in power struggles is like wrestling with a pig. You both get dirty, but the pig enjoys it. People who thrive on conflict aren't looking for resolution, they're looking for control. They want to pull you into their chaos, force you into emotional reactions, and make you play by their rules. The moment you react in anger, you've already lost. Not because you're wrong, but because you've given them exactly what they wanted: your energy, your attention, your peace of mind. Stoicism teaches us to be indifferent to the actions of others and to focus on what we can control. And what can we control? Our response. Instead of getting caught up in pointless arguments, we can choose to disengage. Instead of letting our emotions dictate our actions, we can stay calm, measured, and intentional. Imagine someone insults you, trying to provoke a reaction. What happens if you don't react? What happens if you meet their hostility with silence or a composed smile? They lose their power over you. They can't control someone who refuses to play their game. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. This is the essence of not engaging in power struggles. It's not about letting people walk all over you, it's about refusing to let their behavior dictate your emotional state. It's about recognizing that true strength lies in self-discipline, not in winning petty fights. So the next time someone tries to bait you into an argument, pause. Ask yourself, is this worth my peace? More often than not, the answer will be no. Walk away, stay silent, or respond with calmness that makes their attempts at control meaningless. The person who stays in control of themselves always has the upper hand. Limit your exposure, protect your energy without explanation. Life is too short to spend it surrounded by negativity. Yet, we often find ourselves drained by people who constantly complain, manipulate, or bring unnecessary drama into our lives. They sap our energy, cloud our minds, and make everything feel heavier than it needs to be. The Stoics understood that while we can't control other people, we can absolutely control who we allow into our mental and emotional space. Limiting your exposure to negativity isn't about being unkind or arrogant, it's about self-preservation. Just as you wouldn't willingly drink poisoned water, why would you expose yourself to toxic energy? Yet, many of us hesitate to distance ourselves from negative people out of guilt or obligation. We feel like we owe them our time, our patience, our energy. But the truth is, we don't. Protecting your peace isn't selfish, it's essential. One of the most powerful ways to set boundaries is through quiet withdrawal. You don't need to announce it. You don't need to justify it. Simply reduce your availability, minimize interactions, and let distance do its work. Some people thrive on confrontation and will demand explanations, but you owe them nothing. The moment you try to justify your choice, you invite arguments, manipulation, and attempts to pull you back in. The Stoic way is to act with quiet confidence, knowing that your inner peace is more valuable than anyone's approval. Seneca once said, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you. Welcome those whom you yourself can improve." The process is mutual, for men learn while they teach. In other words, choose your company wisely. Surround yourself with people who uplift, inspire, and challenge you to be better. Life is already filled with enough unavoidable hardships, why voluntarily invite more negativity into your space? The next time you find yourself trapped in a toxic cycle with someone who drains your energy, take a step back. You don't need to explain yourself, argue, or make a dramatic exit. Simply create distance. Guard your mind as fiercely as you would guard your home, and remember, not everyone deserves access to your energy. Respond with silence, the most powerful answer. In a world where everyone is eager to have the last word, silence is often mistaken for weakness. But the Stoics understood that true strength lies in restraint. When confronted with provocation, unnecessary drama, or pointless arguments, the most powerful response isn't a counterattack, it's silence. Think about it. When someone insults you, pressures you into an argument, or tries to stir conflict, what do they really want? A reaction. They feed off of your frustration, your need to defend yourself, your impulse to prove them wrong. The moment you engage, you step onto their battlefield, playing by their rules. But when you refuse to respond, when you simply let their words hang in the air with nowhere to land, you rob them of their power. Marcus Aurelius put it best: you always have the option of having no opinion. You don't have to engage in every battle, defend every accusation, or correct every misinterpretation of who you are. Not every attack needs a counterattack. Not every insult requires a defense. Often, the most devastating response is no response at all. Silence forces the other person to confront the emptiness of their own words. Without your participation, their insults lose weight, their manipulation loses its grip, and their anger eventually burns out without fuel. Silence isn't passive, it's a conscious act of discipline. It's the ability to rise above the noise and refuse to be pulled into unnecessary conflict. This doesn't mean you allow yourself to be mistreated. It means you choose your battles wisely. You conserve your energy for things that truly matter instead of wasting it on petty disputes. You walk away from pointless arguments with your dignity intact while the other person drowns in their own frustration. The next time someone tries to bait you into an argument, pause. Breathe. Ask yourself, is this worth my peace? If the answer is no, let your silence speak for you. Few things are more unsettling to an aggressor than someone who refuses to play their game. Don't take disrespect personally, it's not about you. One of the greatest mental shifts you can make is understanding that people's behavior is often a reflection of their own inner struggles, not a statement about your worth. When someone disrespects you, criticizes you unfairly, or treats you with hostility, it's easy to feel attacked, to internalize their negativity, and to question yourself. But in reality, their actions say far more about them than they do about you. The Stoics understood this deeply. Epictetus once said, if someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation. This means that external events or words don't have inherent power over you, only your interpretation of them does. The moment you start personalizing someone else's bad behavior, you give away your peace. Imagine someone cuts you off in traffic and then angrily yells at you. At that moment, you have two choices: you can take it personally, fume with anger, and let it ruin your mood, or you can recognize that their outburst has nothing to do with you. Maybe they're late for an important meeting. Maybe they had a terrible morning. Maybe they're simply an impatient person. Whatever the reason, it's their issue, not yours. You don't have to absorb their negativity. The same applies to insults, passive-aggressive comments, or cold dismissiveness. When someone treats you poorly, pause and remind yourself, this is their burden, not mine. You are not responsible for their bitterness, their insecurities, or their unhappiness. By refusing to internalize their behavior, you free yourself from unnecessary emotional baggage. Of course, this doesn't mean you tolerate mistreatment. The Stoics never advocated being a doormat. You should set boundaries and stand firm when necessary. But the key is to respond from a place of strength, not wounded ego. Instead of reacting emotionally, you acknowledge the situation for what it is, someone else projecting their inner turmoil onto the world. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been. The power lies within you. You don't have to let someone else's lack of respect dictate how you see yourself. The more you detach from the need for validation, the less you will be affected by the opinions of those who don't matter. So the next time you encounter disrespect, remind yourself, this isn't about me. Stay composed. Stay grounded. And most importantly, stay true to who you are, regardless of how others behave. That is real strength. Be ready to walk away, protect your peace at all costs. There comes a point when words, patience, and understanding are no longer enough. When someone repeatedly disrespects you, disregards your boundaries, or drains your energy, you must be willing to do what many fear the most: walk away. Not out of anger, not out of weakness, but out of a deep respect for your own peace. The Stoics understood that we cannot control others, only ourselves. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The tranquility that comes when you stop caring what they say, or think, or do. Only what you do." Clinging to toxic relationships, whether personal, professional, or social, is an illusion of control. We hope that if we explain ourselves better, if we endure just a little longer, or if we show more kindness, the other person will finally change. But the truth is, you cannot force someone to respect you. And the more you try, the more power you give them over your emotional state. Think about the last time you felt disrespected over and over again. Maybe it was a friend who always made backhanded comments, a boss who never valued your contributions, or a partner who dismissed your feelings. You kept waiting for the moment they'd realize your worth, but it never came. That's because respect is not something you beg for, it's something you command by how you allow yourself to be treated. Walking away doesn't mean you didn't care. It means you cared enough about yourself to stop tolerating what no longer serves you. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, reminds us, if someone is harming you, walk away. If you cannot walk away, change how you react. If you cannot change how you react, accept what is. You always have a choice. And sometimes, the strongest choice is to remove yourself from a situation entirely. But here's the hard part: walking away requires courage. It demands that you face uncertainty, that you let go of the false hope that things will magically get better. Many people stay in harmful situations not because they don't recognize the problem, but because they fear the unknown. They convince themselves that tolerating mistreatment is easier than starting over. But the cost of staying is far greater than the fear of leaving, because staying in a space that erodes your self-worth will slowly destroy you from the inside. So be bold enough to choose yourself. Be strong enough to walk away from people who do not value you. You don't owe anyone endless chances, nor do you need to explain your decision. Your peace is yours to protect. And the moment you choose it, you will realize, you never needed their approval to be free. Surround yourself with those who uplift you, the power of a strong support system. You become like the people you surround yourself with. Their energy, their mindset, and their values shape the way you think and behave, whether you realize it or not. That's why choosing your inner circle wisely is one of the most important decisions you'll ever make. A strong support system isn't just about having people around you, it's about having the right people, those who uplift you, challenge you to grow, and remind you of your worth when the world tries to make you forget. The Stoics understood this deeply. Seneca once wrote, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you. Welcome those whom you yourself can improve." This is the essence of a meaningful support system, a network of people who bring out the best in you and whom you, in turn, help become better. It's a relationship built on mutual respect, encouragement, and growth. Now, contrast that with the opposite. Have you ever been around people who constantly complain, gossip, or drag others down? Maybe they never celebrate your wins, but always seem to notice your failures. Or perhaps they dismiss your dreams, making you feel like you're asking for too much when you strive for more. Over time, this negativity seeps into your mind. It makes you doubt yourself. It limits you. This is why the Stoic approach to relationships is so powerful. You don't need a large circle, just a meaningful one. Epictetus reminds us, the key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best. If someone's presence diminishes your light, if you feel drained rather than inspired after spending time with them, they are not your people. The beauty of choosing the right circle is that it reinforces your resilience. When life throws challenges your way, having the right people by your side keeps you grounded. They remind you that failure is not the end but a lesson. They hold you accountable to your values. They help you see beyond temporary setbacks and encourage you to keep moving forward. But this also means you must be that person for others. If you want to be surrounded by people who uplift, inspire, and support you, you must do the same for them. Be the friend who listens without judgment, who celebrates without envy, who gives without expecting anything in return. In the end, your environment shapes your destiny. Choose people who align with the person you want to become. Walk away from those who bring nothing but negativity. And most importantly, never underestimate the power of a strong support system. It is one of the greatest assets you will ever have.